I have a feeling we'll see them again. They only delay the inevitable.
I'm surprised they've not been killed for. Oh, whoops! Wow, that was way off Paracelsus's voice.
Good job. You're ruining my immersion.
I am surprised they've not been killed for fleeing.
I'm not familiar with what code of honor the Oni have, or if they care about such things.
Most leaders tend to do that, I've found.
To be fair, they just go around, destroy temples, and then run when the tables have turned on them. Honestly, they're cowards. What do you expect in terms of honor?
Well, I believe if we are done gathering up our spoils, we should go and speak with the commander, for we have one last reward to receive.
So, as you head back, you could see all the troops and even Hamada himself heading back to the camps as they see that you're perfectly set and taking your spoils. After which he eagerly meets with you on top on the mountainside of all the camps. Your glory is underwhelmingly told from what my scouts had described. There's nothing I could do to thank you enough for what you've done today to help push them back for good.
Then you are fortunate, for we only ask for the information we agreed on.
Of course.
And perhaps your help in getting an audience, making things smoother, if that's a possibility.
I can definitely get you into his compound. Now, getting a full audience with Oppmer himself might take a little longer, but you will definitely have your chance at him.
Just getting us in, I believe we can do the rest.
Very well. I do move for air of caution when you get in there. He's quite the mixtures of mercenaries and craftsmen. Is unknown what else he has inside. Only what I know is on the outside of those walls.
Well, it seems he's bred quite a lot of fear in these lands, but that is one thing that we are immune to.
I hope so. For now, you should rest, and I will send a messenger to report to Oppmer that the Oni had been driven back and that there is a group of heroes who have been skilled enough to single-handedly go against the commanders and bring them down. I'm sure he'll be more than happy to allow you in out of interest of possibly hiring you.
Very well. That sounds plausible.
Meanwhile, Soul marches off. I must oil my abs.
It was a long battle.
The oil dries up in the sun.
So Hamada passes and he goes to write out a few messages and he gives it off to the smaller rat Hikyogen guy. And you could see him running off into the hills towards where you could see the top of the tower cresting over the hill. At this point in time, you can hear many of the soldiers themselves whispering, and admiring you. And just looking at all the different weapons and tools and baskets and items that you've taken from the commanders, including hearing the jingling of coin that is now filling your pouches.
I wouldn't really even call it jingle or coin at this point. It's more like the rampaging torrent of metal. We're carrying a lot of money.
We really need to invest in a bag of holding.
You know, there was one on Surus's dead body all that time ago.
Gadrin kind of looks up and like, you mean this thing, right?
Wait, we have one?
Well, I didn't think he would need it after the unfortunate incident, but...
Pandora just sort of... Just she slowly face palms. Just like,
Well, it's certainly better than carrying all this stuff around.
He kind of looks down until he just like takes out like the axe and the other items that he'd been carrying around from the other temple. Well, you obviously need it more than I for all this. He passes off to Persil's.
Oh, okay, thank you. At least I get it back through proxy. Alright, put the money in here. As everybody watches as like a year's worth of wages is poured into this bag.
Yeah. You actually see one of the soldiers just stare like awestruck, like, where did it go? And he just like grabs the shoulder of the other guy and they're just like pointing at the bag.
it's a waterfall! It's a waterfall of gold!
Alright, now the extra weapons.
Just toss the weapons in there. Fuck it. That'll do.
After which you could just see Gadrin and whoever else like picking up like mauls and boots and all the other different gloves and belts, just kind of like slipping them in there, and all the you can see like a small group of the soldiers like gather around like, what the fuck, like how's he fitting all in there?
They all just out of existence.
Yeah. You can tell as haggard as these veterans are, they obviously do not have like very nice equipment, so it's pretty obvious they're not sure what the bag of holding is.
Let's see.
Hear a few of them whispering like, are they wizards? They gotta be. Did you see that shot that the other one had with the bow?
Yeah, you know, the one where you splintered and killed like half of their forces. That was
Hey, that's what they get for having an army of minions.
They all had 4 HP and instantly died. Oh no, a splinter!
Meanwhile, you actually do see quite a number of the Kaniku and Haikyuu Genkai and a few of the other soldiers walking up with what looks like a lot of the mining picks and war picks that the Oni slaves had, as well as one of the larger shields and axes from the groups. You could get the good sense that these are probably like the most valued items from them, and that if you get a bit of a closer inspection on one of the pickaxes, a lot of those pickaxes were magically enchanted just on the basis of preventing them from wearing down.
Oh my god, that's probably like really valuable to the average mining operation.
If you remember, there's probably like 9 slaves to the Oni that was running around there, and 5 groups of them, so you easily have 45 enchanted mining picks that never wear down.
So we see that.
Would we... So, Jesus. I mean, if we ever needed pickaxes...
But we noticed that they have the enchanted pickaxes, the soldiers.
Yeah, the ones that they were picking up from the front line.
We'll say, I wonder where these Oni have been getting the money to fund for such an extravagance.
You saw
That's
how
all.
much money they had. They probably just robbed people.
True.
It certainly would make sense, considering how many bandits there were. I mean, we're not the first ones through here, at least.
I just worry that there's possibly something behind the scenes funding. Probably not worth it to think too hard on it.
We should be cautious nonetheless, if they can sport this many enchanted weapons. Even if they are weak, they are certainly deadly and brutal, if used correctly. She sort of looks at Gadrin and asks, where do you think such pickaxes would be made?
And he looks over at all the pickaxes and they look pretty well made and well shaped. Very sharp points. Well, they definitely weren't crudely made at all. I could say that much. And
But they're not dwarven? She's just trying to
blade.
She's trying to figure out whether or not they're probably just if Gadrin would know anything about these particular pickaxes. Because he's a dwarf, he might know.
Oh my god, that's so racist.
It's not racist, we already agreed that he does come from the
He's a
mountains.
black. He probably knows about rap music. That's
That's
what you sound like right now.
he looks over to the soldiers like, oh, it's through. Give me a minute. And he actually goes over to where the soldiers are. And you just hear him ask to take a look at one. He kind of swings it around, looks at both ends, and like just kind of gives a good crack into the stone, see how well it plants in, and pulls it out. You see him come back over after giving a few shots of the stone. Oh, they're definitely not dwarven made. They're finely crafted, but looks more of a human's style of craftsmanship. If they're as big and dumb as they look, I don't think they would have the ability to really have something so refined. But definitely nowhere near quality of a dwarf pick. I mean, it's not entirely weighted properly in the front, and it doesn't have enough power, and you don't have the digging side, and it's not able to crack stone fast enough. They definitely didn't sharpen it well enough before enchanting it.
Pandora just sort of just nods enough, but sort of gives a look. Maybe she or Kaede might know, since they're probably since she doesn't get out too much. Maybe they would know something about it. Who would create such pickaxes in the human kingdoms?
Yuno just shakes her head and looks disinterested.
Remember that.
Pandora will remember that. Then it turns out we're actually fighting a bunch of weird-ass miners. You'll rule the day.
You'll rue the day you crossed me.
We will mine the sun from the sky.
They're trying to mine the
Tunnel
sky
snakes
itself.
rule.
It actually kind of makes sense. I mean, the whole blocked off river thing as well. I mean, I don't know.
It makes sense that the tunnel snakes rule, I know.
Tunnel snakes rule.
But you do hear a number of soldiers a little bit later talking about how Oppmer might be interested in buying a lot of these, seeing how he works in so much metal that there's a rumor that he has a good mine underneath his workshop where he gets most of his material, even though some of it does come from the outside as you hear them over speaking.
I don't really think we need a cover story to go in there. But it's good they might be able to make some money off their lives.
Just as long as we don't exactly flash the box where we walk, we should be okay.
Flash the. Oh, okay. I thought you were making like a metaphor for a second. I was like, what is that a metaphor for?
No, I mean, if we walked into the fucking Oppmers place and was like, "Hey, you're gonna go back in this," he's probably gonna react poorly.
We provided like tents? He said we could rest, right?
Yeah, there are some larger tents that have been set up for you and your group.
I can keep watch outside.
A bit later, Paracelsus, could you stop by? I'd like to have a few words.
Sure.
Oh shit.
I have a feeling I'm about to get a surist.
And I'll just, we'll go to her tent assigned to us and just take a rest.
I'm gonna go glue the parts of my body back together that fell apart. I.e., pillow half.
I'm not even sure if I could like help Paracelsus in any way. He's metal, he's not metal. He's metal, he's metal, not flesh.
You would your magic could still heal him. Oh, her.
Triggered.
Triggered. I guess
Josh, did you just assume her gender?
Yeah. Jeez, I'm made out of metal. That doesn't mean I'm masculine. Typical. Scoff.
I'm just gonna assume this. I'm just gonna plonk this square here as a tent. Can I perhaps look over that question
Of
mark
course.
longsword that I picked up?
Alright, I'm going to be back in about 10 seconds. I need to go give the PS4 to my brother. He wants to use it.
Okay.
Alright, so you're gonna examine the longsword?
Yeah, just I may have just picked it up from the ground and I was just curious in it, so I'll just have a look at it.
Alright. So, as you look over it, you could see there's a very fine embroidered edge along it. Almost plant design all the way down the handle, and looks to be more or less of illustrated around the idea of forest and plant life. Along the top edge, as it creeps up to the more flat tang of the blade, you could see that there's just beautiful, elegant, almost grapevine looks to it as it crawls along the blade. And that, going down towards the edge, it starts to form into it starts to form into more of a thorns and vines, as if it would bite on the side of that edge.
I'll maybe could I go? I'll go behind the tent to this tree that's been undamaged yet, and I'll give it maybe a couple of test swings,
Right.
just to see what it might do to a tree. Probably incredibly ironic that I'm doing it to a tree.
So
Branching out.
as soon as you grip the edge of the blade itself, it feels very, very cold. And even though the fine leather work around it and the embroidery on the hilt, all the designs, was very warm, as soon as you grip it, you just feel very deathly chill creep across your arm and down your spine.
Oh boy, that can't be good.
So when you are you slicing the tree or just kind of like poking it?
I'll give it maybe just one slice to a tiny branch,
All right.
just to be safe.
All right. So when you slice that little edge into the branch itself, and you kind of pull away just to see, you can see very irregular bulges in the small bits of the bark of the branch itself, as thorns start to burst forth from underneath of it.
I'll attempt to sheathe the sword at that.
Alright. Let's 1 second. What's your will again?
My will?
Oh god.
It's a cursed weapon. Astounding. My will is 19.
Alright. You feel it kind of like a small whisper. Like something was trying to say something. But you managed to kind of push this out of your head.
Unless you want to give in.
Yes, if you want to hear it. And you put it away, but you still feel like that very cold, tingling sensation on your hand for about another 5 minutes before it goes away.
Pandora will sort of very quickly bolt back into the tent.
With the weapon?
Yeah, with still carrying the weapon. She's probably just a little unsettled.
Your anaconda looks at you.
My anaconda knows better than I do about these things. I'm definitely gonna get this shit examined by more professional hands, though.
Do it.
That was the whisper. It's actually just Emperor Palpatine.
That would be the best.
No, not the
Should have impels you through the next course of action.
Kill him.
If you fail a will save, the next course of action suggested to you by an authority figure you must fulfill. You just hear in the back of your mind, do it.
Ah, Jesus Christ.
So, how was that for spine tingling?
Pandora probably is just like, nope, that's enough. Nope, just shut the tent. No, not dealing with this cursed shit today. Not after the war. No.
I mean, I would like a weapon that would talk to me, but all I got are my fists.
Well, I mean, I'm fairly certain your fists do the
I mean,
talking
like,
for
what
you,
happens
though.
when you're lonely on those nights, dude? Now you got something to talk to.
Exactly.
Well, I need more friends. I've only got my anaconda, and the only
No,
thing
no,
he's
no, no, no,
interested
no, no.
in is
You need a
buns.
second opinion. You talk to the anaconda. It's basically you, anyways.
But no, I think for a matter of fact, Pandora will just sort of just for now. Maybe it's best to get a second opinion on the blade.
Alright.
An expert's opinion.
Man, I'm just trying to open this water bottle, and it's not happening.
So, you just see Gadrin start marching off towards the Tanuki's camp again with a big smile on his face of what happened with the battle. You can already hear them getting loud as they take out beer mugs and sake bottles.
They're gonna duel to the death.
Ta-da, ta-da.
So, and in the middle of the night, you could see as the night wears on, Mashai Hamada kind of limping from his wounds back to his tent, still with a fairly big smile of everything just being over in general. And
Yeah, he got fucked up.
yeah, he's got quite the number of wounds on him. And you could tell even.
Well, like us, he'll probably just get a rest all night and he'll be good as new in the morning.
So he just decides to turn in early. You can tell there's quite a number of wounds and breakage on his armor. Even as a leader of this whole rebellious group, you can tell even he himself doesn't have a lot in the way of magical equipment or armor.
No wonder they were so worried about this fight.
Yeah, we kind of fucked all of those Oni up because we have like magical shit just stowed in our asses, and they have like maybe one magical weapon if they're lucky.
They watch us pour probably their like army's month fund into a bag.
Along with several like weaponry that like they could use.
From
Yeah,
looking
we're
around
just
here, you
gonna
could tell that's
settle.
probably like the army's like half a year pay.
Oh God.
God.
You get that. You could tell that's why a lot of these people look so grizzled because they've been going off of whatever they could fix and just hold up with. This is why they're so ecstatic to have the pickaxes from the Oni slaves, as it were.
Our next top pickaxe. We speak to this old man who's been impoverished for centuries. Old man, what do you have to say about this recent influx of magical items? We didn't need this shit back in my day. You got down on your knees and you dug in the dirt with your fingernails to get rich.
Oh God.
One of the Kenku comes
No.
over. Ah!
And we didn't have damn crow people.
The crows just go, I am so offended.
The crows are coming over the border to take our jobs.
It's because I'm black, isn't it?
Oh fuck.
Oh shit.
Because I'm a
Oh,
bird.
sorry, I didn't mean to take you that far. The old man steps back.
Oh, wait. I'm
Yeah,
not.
you better run, cracker.
I'm not like that.
I'm not like the other girls.
Blue eyes, pink white dragon.
Josh, what's the current year?
Ooh, that's a good point.
Oh, current year, goddammit.
If it's too, I'm sure it's somewhere, but if it's too hard to find.
I will actually have to dig into that a little bit more.
Close enough.
Sorry.
It's 1980 ACKR.
It's 1960s.
It's 2012 plus 4. Come on, people. It's supposed to be new current year pretty soon.
So,
Um,
Paracelsus, you do have a request.
I have one unfulfilled request. After reading for a little bit, I guess I'll go visit you now.
Okay. So you enter in her tent, and she's just kind of sitting at like one of those like little tables that you kind of have to like that you like kneel at, you know, that are like really small.
Ooh, Japanese table.
Yeah, and she just kind of has her scythe like over her like thighs, and says, "Oh, see you. Please come in."
Hi. Aren't you supposed to be asleep?
Shortly, I am tired from the battle, but I had a few questions. I noticed you're reading that journal quite a bit.
Yes.
I was curious, did it mention anywhere in there of when all of these souls escaped the puzzle?
Specifically, more or less gives a general time period. They seem to have been released by people messing with the box. Not all at once, but in large bursts.
I guess this KP character. Correct?
Yes. He stopped at one point, though.
Hmm. Anything else you've read in the journal that will help us in our quest to retrieve these souls?
For that goal, no, not really.
So
It is pretty interesting. You can read the notes when you have the time.
you seem to have a lot of time on your hands. I trust you, Paris.
Trusting the ever living construct, of course. Parcelus will just nod.
I would also like to know your thoughts about our situation and progress so far, if you have any.
I came to this land to find that box originally, so what we're doing is exactly what I wanted to.
That is good to hear. Well, thank you again for your eternal watches and service for our shared goal. And she
This
bows.
existence is much more interesting. I do not bow. No, but
I do
nobody's
not.
told me what bowing is. I just think everybody does it because they like it.
Okay. Yeah, she bows and, conversation basically ends there.
Alright, I'm gonna go sit outside somewhere and watch while I read. So basically, mostly just read.
Alright.
Considering, we're in the middle of a camp, I'm not too worried about. And also, I have all of the group's wealth on me, so they'd have to try to pickpocket me. Yeah, that does actually remind me. I have all of the group's wealth on me. That's a pretty big burden to bear.
That's true.
Well, it's just sunshine in a bag at this point.
Yeah, I mean, when we get back to town, I want to buy like a hidden chest compartment or something.
You just buy like a compactable, you just buy drawers, and then you just one moment. You open up your chest, and then you just pull out drawers, and then inside the drawers are neatly folded clothes. Wait, wrong drawer.
Lingerie, wrong drawer. Assorted hoses, wrong drawer.
Like that. It's instead of an infinite bag of holding, it's an infinite drawer of items.
Would you like this
90.
my spaceship? Let me show you the many assorted lengths of wire I used.
What?
That was from the first episode of Futurama.
Oh, right.
Alright, so I've finished the entire book on notes, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
once you finally sit down and finish the rest of the works, you get the full working ritual of how to release every single soul from the puzzle box, and you realize that a lot of the souls have the option of either passing on to the great beyond of whatever heaven or hell may be, or the other option of their choice is to stay partially bound, but on the mortal plane, which seems to be the situation for many of the people.
So when they get released, they can choose to die eternally, or they can choose to continue living bound to the current plane.
Yes.
Okay.
But you also realize that this means that they would have to go to wherever they were destined, which is why some of these people probably decided not to.
Okay. That's pretty interesting. Well, I'm going to, I guess I'll just spend the rest of this evening transcribing the notes into a readable format in case anybody else wants to read them. I guess probably, since that would probably actually take a really long time, I'd probably just do a Spark Notes version of the important parts.
Can you make the first spark note?
Yeah. No, Parcels has been doing it for centuries. Leaving out the ritual part, because I don't want anybody to know that actually happens, because that's kind of detrimental to my goal at this point. I want that shit.
I mean, when we're currently going around putting souls back in,
Yeah.
don't think we particularly need a ritual that lets them back out again.
Yeah, I know, but in case somebody found the ritual and then also happened to find the box. Like in case we lost in any circumstance.
If some asshole comes along and murders us,
Yeah,
that basically.
Yeah.
then at least we're not giving them everything.
Mm-hmm. I will commit it to memory, though. In case of an emergency. Whatever emergency would detail destroying the box in some way. What are you typing anyway? You're typing really hard.
Secret.
Yeah.
So, detailing in...
I think that does it.
Oh, definitely. But, You do remember that there is a way to destroy the box, but it was the fear of what might come out of it. Is that?
Yeah, no, I remember. That's why I said in case of an emergency that that it becomes a preferable option. Because I still don't know everything that it does. This is just one researcher's notes into it. Ultra Lionel Train Town Deluxe Part 1. Thank you.
So, even after the long day of battle, you can hear plenty of the troops celebrating into the night very late, and just plenty of celebratory cheers and jeers, and a lot of drinks being spilt and food being made and spilt everywhere and eaten. As the morning crests over, you could just hear the very loud snoring of many of the soldiers. The few who maintained an air of responsibility are early in the morning or already patrolling just to make sure everyone's all right and that there's nothing else in the camp after the small celebration victory and going awry. And just that supplies stay where they're supposed to be. Hamada comes out, and you could see him talking with the Rat Haikyuu Genkai. You could see a smile creep over his face, even though he's kind of cringing from wounds and exhaustion that have fully set in on the next day. You see him without his armor. He has a few full-length gashes across his chest and stomach, one across his arm, as well as most of the armor that he did have is very obviously destroyed as he set it out on the table, and there's a lot of broken straps and metal on it.
Wow.
Pandora will be sort of like the second to be awake, considering Paracelsus is sort of around. She had a bit of a rough night, but I think she's managed it. She'll slowly sort of approach Hamada and sort of just look over the injuries. So just sort of giving her, just giving like a sort of a medical or just like a cursory glance just to see if there's anything fatal.
You can easily see that the gash in his stomach and his chest. There's one that hit right underneath his arm that he managed to stop just in time. As you can see, even though he's not wearing his armor, he still has his bow out. That, from what you could tell, he seemed to have managed to stop it with the metal of the bow, because there's a massive notch in it, and it probably would have ended up killing him.
Is there any way for me to stabilize him a little? I've got about, how much heal do I have again? I've got about 12 heal. I could probably try and give him a bit of a boost.
Yeah, you could definitely go over and use some of your shamanistic magic to heal over some of his wounds and speed his recovery along.
So yeah, Pandora will sort of look Hamada over and sort of just grab her totem and then just look sort of at the wounds and see if she can't heal them. So, just gonna check if I can. I'm
Now you're gonna ask him.
No, it's she's on a very
Take
strict
off your
not
shirt.
talking. He doesn't have armor on,
Yeah.
so I'm going to assume
He's
he doesn't.
shirtless right now.
Just gonna move for the molestation,
Yeah.
No, she's just gonna go for the heal.
the morning grope.
So, as you can tell, it's a little awkward, but even the Rat Haikyuu Genkai is a little shocked at first. He wasn't sure what you were doing. Hamada realizes after some of the wounds start to close over more, and the magic starts to set in, he just kind of looks at you, acknowledging that, you know, as bad as what he did, was at least dignified himself a small bit.
Don't take this as kindness. I'm doing this because this is what Bahamut wished. She says in a very serious tone. She's still very, he can clearly see that she's unhappy, but
Mm. He just nods. Thank you.
Sort of with that, she'll hear what she can, and then once she's done, she's going to sort of look around, and then return to her tent.
Alright.
Probably to wake up my anaconda.
As he's wrapped in a very warm battle standard.
It's his nice little blanket. It's his sleeve. Yeah, my anaconda
Snake
needed a
sleeve.
My anaconda needed a sleeve.
Dude, snake sleeve just doesn't sound good. It just sounds like
Well,
you
I mean,
found a
people
woman
have,
that you just don't care about there.
Oh my.
people have like knit little sweaters for the snakes before when their like heat lamps get busted. So I mean, after being swallowed by some sort of gargantuan under-earth worm, I mean, it's only fair.
With the nightmarish saliva.
I don't want to talk about it.
It was so slimy.
Slimy.
No, it would be worse if it wasn't actually slimy.
I love slime.
No, imagine if it was just like coarse or like it was like a weird like moist sponge quality to it.
Moist.
Moist.
Ugh. Sorry.
Zoom tight.
Blessed.
Yeah. I'm gonna catch Rosie sick. It's gonna be great. I'm going through some.
So, as you see Hamada getting the rest of the report and getting a few more messages from Hada, you could see after that Hada bows and he looks over towards where Kaida's resting, and he kind of heads over, takes out like a small little package, and then sets it where Kaida would come down from on the rock, and then just kind of hurries off.
I mean, suppose I'll get that whenever I climb down.
Oh, he wants that ass, though. That's probably that's probably a booty call right there.
He's leaving you his digits.
Here's my telepathy phone number.
So, you can see Gadrin coming over, and he's stretching, and he's actually already got one of the sake bottles still in hand.
Sorry, drinking watered down breakfast alcohol.
Yes. I figured I'd go light. I think we lost Soul again. He seems to be smoking too much pipe weed and oiling himself up too much again.
He does spend a few hours on that at the very least.
Hmm.
Well, once we are all awake, we can perhaps speak to the commander and see how things are progressing. Yeah, what's in it?
So, well, that's up to Kaida. Do you open it up?
I mean, yeah, I'll find out what's in it.
You want me to whisper it?
Sure.
I mean, it's a booty call. I'm 100% like positive at this point. Either that or a death threat mixed with a booty call.
¿Por qué las dos?
Alright.
That was totally right.
Probably. Anyway. as everyone gathers for the morning, you can see Hamada has recovered quite a bit for those of you who saw what Pendar had done.
I was probably sitting pretty close, so I could probably see it.
Yeah. And he looks at everyone and is like, well, Oppmer is ecstatic to have an audience with you all. He would like you to come stay at his workshop until he can have a proper meeting with you after he finishes all his business accords.
Very well.
If anything, I would say before you have a chance to meet with him, it would definitely be wise to take advantage of his craftsman. He is quite the number of capable people who have been coming in and out of his workshop as begging just to have a small use of his forges and materials.
Yes, that's a good idea.
So it's a shop.
Why do you think they call it a workshop?
I mean, yeah, but you know, generally you expect the workshop to just make things at best. Most workshops don't usually sell things directly.
I'll get my escort, and I know a few of our men are eager to sell some of these pickaxes. I'm sure Oppmer can use them, even if they're not. Even if there is no mine or such underneath his workshop, I'm sure he has plenty of material companies that would gladly take that in trade for a good few raw materials themselves, since they don't wear down. I know plenty of the soldiers will be ecstatic to get their full pay and food again. After that, you can see them loading up a few of the carts, and a lot of them pulling it by hand themselves.
Can I ride on one?
Oh my god. Beautiful, just beautiful.
You can ride on what?
Right.
One of the carts they're pulling by hand.
You just lay back as they carry you places. Just slaves go.
Ah, yes.
Actually, wear the riding boots while you do it.
I look around for a whip. I'm just kidding.
Oh, God. You'd find one, though you're not sure where it came from. Pseudo, is this yours?
Oh, Jesus.
Senpai!
I swear that's not mine.
Oh, dude. It's got your name carved in the handle. No.
Why-
Never seen it.
Why is this family emblem embroidered so finely on the hilt?
I mean, this is real in there, man.
So, well, I'm sure plenty of you take a few seats on some of the carts that they're pulling. They actually don't seem to mind at all. Especially on the prospect of the fact that you're the main reason why they're all still alive right now.
That's nice. I mean, these days people don't really realize that all the time.
Alright, sweetheart.
Good night, sweetheart.
Love you too.
Make sure you brush your teeth before bed.
So, as you come cresting around the mountain's edge, you could see this huge brass tower going up 200 feet. It seemed to be connected to the mountainside itself before continuing on another 100 feet past. All different metals and designs going around it. It seems like more and more of it had been added on, and the roof pushed up further and further, just kind of sitting on top of it. As you see the walls of the complex itself, you can see they're extremely thick, well built, and very sturdily designed. And you see different faces and skulls along the entirety of the stonework itself, with many different holes and shapes. If you look a little more carefully at each of the holes on the wall itself, where the mouths open up and the skulls as well, they look like just scorch marks almost that go in. As you pass by some of the walls, you could see that the few archers that are walking along the entire length of it are paying watchful eyes to you, and see the group of you sitting on carts, the others still just coasting along, walking slowly. They don't seem too on edge, they just seem to be vigilant with their watch, even though it is just the middle of the day. If you look further up on the tower as you get closer, you can actually see that there's just one large metal panel that seems to be connected, and not entirely sure, but it seems a little different in comparison to the rest of the tower. That seems to be multi-plated with open windows and different lights and different flashes and almost sparks, so it seems like lightning, and different floors of the whole entire tower itself.
Oh god, I just realized something. He's Australian. Look at the roofs. Ozzy, look at the roofs. He's Australian. Oh god. Run away.
Sound nice when it hails.
Crikey. Looks like we got ourselves a couple of didgeridoos.
He's Australian. He has tinfoil fucking roofs.
Oh god.
I'm worried that my neck is in a terminal state. Every single time I roll that back, I can hear it cracking.
The eternal state of everything just coasting along, breaking slowly.
Probably, yeah.
It's
I
like
love the way Hummer's group got like that slight angle on them.
Yeah,
No,
they're tilted.
They're tilted. It's like a problem I've got with my wrist, actually. The same problem as that neck is that when I roll it, it clicks, even though I just cracked it or something. But
Yeah.
it's good.
It just started doing this, though.
I mean, we're supposed to be moving up,
But anyways, yeah, alright.
probably keep up with them.
Wouldn't be a bad idea. Who are you? What are you doing?
I jumped the wall.
I fly over the wall.
My anaconda goes through the wall.
I teleport directly into Oppmers so he dies.
Just telegibbon. Telefrag.
The entirety of the wall itself in height is 20 feet up,
Yeah, I got this.
Yeah, you can fly over that, I believe.
with a lip that
Yeah, I can grab the lip when I get up there, dude. It'd be cool.
juts out a little bit, so it would be hard to go straight up unless you kind of Assassin's Creed's it.
I'm gonna Assassin's Creed it, Josh.
Yeah, I can totally pull that off.
Yeah.
Who's this?
So
Well, I guess we'll see in a moment.
when When approaching the wall, the orc steps aside, and you could see
And Donald Trump steps out.
what looks to be a satyr.
Josh, just let
Oh
me
boy.
And he looks down to see Hamada, and he calls down like, "Ah, the peasants come back again. Are these the ones you were talking about in the letter? Lord Oppmers too busy for rabble." And Hamada calls up. He's like, "Yes, I wouldn't dare bring any other before Oppmer, and I wouldn't even think to waste his time. He's been very generous to us, and I also bring the rest of the order that you are interested in, the mining picks." Ah, good. As he kind of looks down on all of you, you could tell as he kind of hangs back in the comparison to the orc that this satyr is actually surprisingly short, and it looks to be about 4 feet tall, as he could barely peer over the edge of the wall itself.
Is that him right there?
Yep. Right here at the top corner. You could tell he's definitely talented in magic, as the glow from his staff kind of crackles a little as his mood seems to play along with a lot of his magic. Kind of get the sense that he isn't fully in control of his magical energies at all times, but seems to be fairly calm for the time being. As he marches over, you can hear him yelling, open the gates, they have to go through the check of everything. It takes always a good moment." So, with that, the gates themselves actually do open. The wood doors on one side for a more welcoming tone, but then you can see there's stone doors as well on the back that swing open as Hamada and the others start moving forward. As you walk in, you can see along the sides, as you step along the floor here, is entirely metal, so you just hear a very loud clink each time you step, especially loud for Parcelis with spiked shoes.
Yeah, I'd probably really give this grass a good workout on the way up here.
Clunk, clunk, clunk.
Good thing they're magical, so they don't dull.
Yep. And as you're walking along, the door behind you closes. Pseudo is locked out.
I mean, I was
Good
walking
job, shooter.
in.
I know. Senpai!
He had to single you out since you were the only one that didn't do it.
Yeah. So you could see a lot of the archers keeping a very vigilant eye, arrows trained until they get the clear. You could see the satyr seems to be focusing and doing some kind of ritual magic, as well as some of the, well, look almost like lanterns, but the pipe leading up into them, it looks like they can spin. And as you see, the ground underneath them is fairly charred, as well as the stonework themselves. You get the sense that this is one of the worst defense mechanisms that he has, that punishes anyone trying to attack him who breaks down his front gate. And you can see the tension on a lot of the soldiers' faces, and a few beads of sweat. Even Hamada is extremely tense at this prospect of just being in this entryway. And it becomes very abundant to you that all of these are flamethrowers.
Oh.
Pandora sort of quietly leans over to Yuno. Do you think he's compensating for something?
Well, at the very least, they're very paranoid.
Yeah, there's a line between... there's certainly a line between defensive and paranoia. She sort of looks at all the flamethrowers, even she's a little off-put.
So, it feels like forever being stuck in between as you see just the different amounts of oil have built up in all these lanterns and where the flames shoot out. Just the little spark of flame at the edges, in case anything goes awry, that they would just activate immediately and not Not to mention, just completely overkill it with the archers as well, if any were to try and scale the walls ahead of time.
Yeah. Very intimidating defense system here. Thankfully, we get to walk past it.
Or so you think. Activate flamethrowers.
They have the box, burn them!
You just hear like that nothing personal kid, and then we're gone.
After a few minutes, you realize that the satyr has actually kind of fallen asleep during the ritual. As the archer just kind of like pokes him with the end of the bow, he kind of wakes like, "Hey, yes, yes, they're clear. Go, just open the doors. Oh, boring here today."
What ritual was he doing? The flamethrowers?
You,
Or
Well-
we're not sure.
you're not sure, but you could roll an Arcana if you like.
Okay. I am curious as to what he was controlling. Not very good.
You're not entirely sure.
Don't worry, I got this. Nah.
Well, if you
Care.
can if you mention it to the others if they want to try.
I mean, let's see if you mentioned it. I don't think like.
But you get the sense that it was to check for something, but you can't really tell what, since he kind of nodded off before finishing the whole ritual itself.
Yeah, Yuno's hand and arm probably like very subtly kind of went over her armor where she has the box underneath it, and probably was hoping that it wasn't spotted.
He was actually checking for traps.
Oh yes. Check
He's checking for
traps.
my. He's checking my anaconda.
Checking for abs.
Presence of abs detected. Burn. And then they fucking light the lights, and then fucking all the oil that Saul has been rubbing onto their abs just brilliantly gleam. They transcend into a level 99 sun.
So, after which the steel gates in front charred black from the amount of fire that had been used already in this area. You could tell very clearly there's a number of people who've met a very quick, cindery end to their lives in this area. Hamada quickly marches forward with the rest just to get by.
Nibble.
As soon as we're kind of a little ways away from the other soldiers, will probably whisper to the group, "We're not using that as our exit."
So, as you come into the compound, as it were, you can see an elf with a little Trent Spriggan and a very strange-looking elk / water buffalo. I'm not entirely sure, and it's very unique in nature. Just kind of slowly strolling around, petting it as it kind of just sweetly grazes alongside her calmly. Another lady who seems to be part of the guard with her hips leaning on the side of a tiger that seems to be eyeing all of you hungrily. And as you can tell off to the right, or it seems to be the location of where they stay, maybe because of the more open area for more of a stable of the tiger and the elk itself. As well as before you, the giant clay golem statue holding a massive bag of ore, and just the pinnacle of human physical fitness stands before you with nothing but a loincloth and a very shabby, lengthy beard, staring down in an almost intimidating fashion.
This?
Yep.
Gadrin?
Gadrin, the pinnacle of health.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I read the plaque.
So as you read the plaque, it basically looks over as hard work and diligent man stands above the rest as he stares at the land.
Okay.
You could tell from the plaque itself that it seems that Oppmer values humans more, even though there's quite the mix in the compound here. Especially idolizing, just like he basically gave the statue like the most perfect looking body, like just strength and abs to rival soul.
Abs.
To rival soul? That's impossible.
Abs.
As he's holding just a massive bag of what looks like to be different metal ores and such.
Don't hold soul to the media's unrealistic standards.
As you walk by, you can see the rest of the more heavily armored guards. Very thick black armor and long swords in hand with small banners on back. Two of the guards themselves seem to be a little more outstanding. One very bounty hunter-esque with a crossbow in hand and a myriad of daggers and knives hidden under a cloak and a metal mask covering his face, as well as a more fat and robust, large, full grotesque blade on the other, who seems to have more of a noblish stance, but kind of just eyes you all as he keeps the others in check, making sure that the dumber ones don't try and pick a fight with whoever just walked in. You just hear him yelling back for like, enough! They passed. There's nothing here to chop up or eat. Get back to your post. And with that, Hamada quickly comes over and is like, I must thank you all, and I can not take too much time. I know Oppmer would be interested in giving you a moment to settle in before he can meet with you. I know he wouldn't want me lingering here, otherwise it might cause for alarm. But I don't finish our transaction. If I ever see you again, I at least hope I could repay you in some form for giving my troops the chance to go home.
Yes, Hamada-san, please pay attention in the coming days. I feel this brass tower may have a leadership position open very soon.
Oh, Jesus.
I will keep a very watchful eye then.
She'll bow.
And he'll bow. Till we meet again, Lady Yuno. And he bows to the rest of you, Pandora and Kaida, Pseudo.
I'll bow. I'm a man.
Pandora chooses to bow.
He goes over to Paracelsus like, oh, I know you don't seem to like to bow, but perhaps this might suit you better in a sense of respect. And he takes out a small book and hands it to you. You can tell it says on the front of the Art of War.
Oh, he's giving me a book by Sun Tzu. I nod at him. Thank you.
So the rest quickly hurry off to complete the transaction that they have come to do.
Pandora will sort of move over to Yuno and whisper, how are we going to do this?
Well, it looks like getting out will be difficult if we don't do things quick and quietly, but I fear it won't go as much. Oh, shush, there's something approaching.
It's me.
With that, you see a very small, only about 2 foot high, for what you could tell, a clockwork dragon.
Oh my god. That's adorable.
And every time it just kind of opens up and just hear like, ah! Oh, almost like the gears kind of click and give it like a sweet little squeak to it.
It's fucking adorable.
It just kind of sits there looking up at Paracelsus like almost expectingly.
Touch
Pet
Do
the
you wish
dragon.
to be pet? I will reach out my arm.
it sits there happily as you pet it. You just hear the small clink of brass on, well, steel eyes. And it kind of just closes its eye shutters a little bit, and then it kind of just opens its mouth with a little squeak, like, ah.
It's fucking adorable.
You will be called Squishy, and you will be mine.
You do not squish.
Making a goddamn Looney Tunes reference. Ah.
You didn't get my references either. Don't worry about it.
Anyway.
After which, Gadrin kind of walks over like, well, it seems like we have got the free reign to walk around a
Yes.
bit.
Let us mingle about, and we have stuff to sell, so perhaps we could sell some things and also buy some things if they have anything here.
That's true. I'm definitely interested. They seem to have quite the complex amount of stuff here. And as he kind of makes his way around the corner, you can kind of see like Gadrin's eyes light up as like this secondary small tower that you could tell is more or less for the traveling craftsman looking to use his the utilities and other forge items that Oppmers has set up on the side. There's quite a number of different races here between the humans, the orcs, and you actually see a few dragonborn as well as one very heavily armored person. Doesn't look fully dragonborn. He looks more to be of a lizard folk, but very heavily armored. As well as over by the well, a orc sorceress and another Naga priestess.
Naga Priestess or Snake Hangi?
Not entirely
Just
sure.
clarify.
You would have to go up and check.
Alright, jeez.
Well, you could try and arcana her from a distance, but she might notice.
God. No, that's not happening. My Arcana is 4, dude. That's not happening.
Give it a shot.
Let's see. Oh, actually, hold on. It has to do with your... what is it? Animal shape. Because I think it's insight to bluff.
Well, I mean, my insight and bluff are kind of tied. Technically. I can just try diplomacy, actually. I'll just try the stick. Hey, you a snake Hangi okay? 20.
Oh, yeah, you can do that. Yeah, you can tell the two are having a very civil conversation as they sit by the well of water.
I think Pandora will just sort of... My Anaconda will just sort of graze a bit while Pandora sort of follows along until she sort of just slithers by the well just to sort of look at the water.
As you do, you can still hear the two having their conversation, discussing different matters at hand, coming from the capital recently, and many of the deals that had come here
I'm back.
for the orcs have been very, very beneficial, especially since they're not too welcome in the capital, and that it's very refreshing that they actually have a chance to be able to prove their craftsmanship while the snake lady herself is sitting there discussing, like, I've been trying to get the other spirits to agree with me to at least look at some of the works here. They definitely have some very fascinating magical properties and different capabilities, even though I know they say it's more destructive. There are definitely other uses for what they have. Yeah.
My Anaconda is just enjoying himself. He's just roaring. He's a strong, independent snake, and he don't need no woman. until he needs the woman.
So
So he starts getting bullied in 4chan.
So, and looking around as you see the front entrance to the tower with the grand arch doors, and as you can see 2 other warforged guarding the front gate. A very
Wow.
large and fat noble, very heavily dressed in furs, diamonds, jewelry, and other precious metals, stands at the gate, patiently waiting with his 2 slender bodyguards, as well as the other 2 samurai glaive wielding guards stand further up the road away from the front of the workshop itself. You can hear him kind of huff and wheeze as his overweight stature is tested.
It's literally like a picture of Kingpin.
D&D Kingpin.
Huff and wheeze as he stands there waiting patiently, occasionally wiping the sweat away from his fat brow with a very nice silken cloth.
We're keeping him waiting.
That's okay.
Who is that? Or do we not know?
You don't know, but you can tell he's waiting outside the gate himself to possibly have a meeting, while his other 2 ladies that appear to be his bodyguards stand watch beside him.
Hmm. I'm
I
gonna
wonder if his meeting was delayed because of us.
We could be the reason of delay. Well, that's a good point.
Well, they didn't give us direction, so I don't think we're expected. Or anyone but Oppmer. I'm gonna look around for.
That's a rather impressive way of talking to me. Yuno just has the amazing power of just, I can talk to people at any distance without raising my voice much.
So, Suda, when you come around the corner, you can see all the different workshops that had made Gadrin's eyes just light up as he kind of quickly came over to start looking at all the different works and the different smiths crafting their different specializations between jewelry and just gem cutting and even metalworks being made, as well as a very sweet looking monk girl just kind of patting the side of a giant lizard.
It's a regular, like, strange petting zoo in this place. I'm petting a metal dragon. A nice looking monk woman petting a lizard.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on in this area, Josh. What's going
Apparently,
on?
Oppmer's got a petting zoo.
As well as you could see the more heavily armored group that are sitting by a tent who look like they've been recently equipped with very finely embroidered and engraved armor and weapons and metalwork. You know, very large and sturdy looking minotaur as well, hefting a few new items that you could tell have been recently made.
I'd like to check out the weapon or blacksmith or whatever.
As you come down, you could see a few of the other smiths are looking up at you and seeing like some of your gear, kind of like almost like they're estimating like your value, trying to see how much they could ask from you. At the same time, you could see a small orc child with a female orc working near a large cauldron of food and a fire, making different roasts and such. And it looks like Bard has just been sitting beside playing music as they all work, just singing happily as he relaxes by the food cart. And you could tell he has a large bottle of wine, a couple of fine cheeses, and a whole roast chicken for himself.
Oh. Damn!
Very hungry person indeed.
I guess I'll just think to myself that this place feels more like a fair than some kind of military fortress.
As soon as you're inside, it definitely gives that feeling. though many of the groups marching around the wall, you could tell how it would definitely be difficult to get in. But at the same time, though many of these craftsmen seem focused on their work, you could tell that they could probably hold their own very well in a fight and would not want to see their goods stolen by anyone.
I'm sure. I'd like to buy a weapon if I can.
There's quite the mix of smiths there. You look around, you see the few dwarven smiths that are actually here, which is quite the surprise. And you see a good number of human craftsmen, as well as the very rare dragonborn.
No dwarves?
There's dwarves there. You could definitely see a fair amount of dwarves themselves sticking to their group. You could kind of hear them laughing and pointing at other people, kind of like almost like they're mocking the way they're working, shaping the metal itself as they work. Obviously, thinking very highly of themselves.
Alright, well, I'm gonna buy a weapon unless you want me to actually talk to these people.
No, you could definitely trade. You can even sell some of your stuff here.
And what's the selling cost? Like 5 or 10% or something?
The selling cost is the 20%.
20% up.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll do some selling of my own, although I'm sure the party has loot to sell as well.
So sell all the stuff on the side list that you guys don't want.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
I'm just sit here and pet this dragon. I assume you come back for my stuff. Unless the dragon leaves, I'm gonna keep petting it.
Yeah. It just kind of sits there happy.
Dude, he's getting pet duty. Ain't got time for anything else.
Would it be a bit too much to assume that there might be like an examiner here as well?
No, you can tell there's a whole mix of craftsmen and artificers. Like
There's a lot of people here.
yeah, these are all people bound by money or craftsmanship alone.
So Pandora will sort of move up the side of the well a little bit, and as she goes to take a drink, Pseudo and Kaede can overhear this really peculiar method of speech. It's kind of disturbing to listen to for a little bit before she finishes up her water, finishes up her drinking water.
So
it's I don't exactly know how to describe it. That's the basic gist of it.
Probably very foreign, but almost guttural in aspects, and with a few very deep tones to her voice. Not manly, but very deep feminine.
Sounds pretty spooky.
In which the other snake lady turns and responds as well, like as she kind of lights up and smiles as well.
Pandora will return the smile and continue speaking in the odd tongue.
She gives you a deep bow as in respect of finding another of her own race.
Pandora will return the bow.
Now challenge her to a 1v1.
Booties.
I don't think that necessarily. That's not.
I mean, like, you gotta prove who the best snake lady is. You can't just have her get in your grill.
The real best snake lady is my anaconda. I like how Pseudo or nor Kaede is just like they're not commenting on this horrible speech that they're hearing. Like it's just it's indescribable.
Very, very horrifying speech. Like, you can tell they're both very comfortable with it, but it's very highly irregular. Even the email orc is a little off-put by it, but just kind of sits there calmly, like she's probably heard worse. So, after a few more minutes of wandering around the compound, you do kind of feel like there are a few eyes on you as well. People just kind of watching. The other craftsman relax as goes around, buys a few pieces of their works, and even asks if she wants them customly made or anything special done with them.
Probably not. Nothing special. Although the material I asked for is kind of special.
What kind of material?
Adamantine.
Oh, super sharp. Super light, super sharp. Super deadly.
You can see some of their eyes light up, like they're ecstatic to someone who has the coin to dish out for that kind of material.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, yes, right away. And you can actually see the dwarves that you asked go right over, and they actually open up like their own personal vault for a couple of these ingots. They start mixing them up fully.
You see a really hairy man. Kind of looks like Hugh Jackman.
Where do you?
Where the fuck are you looking?
No, just because he's getting adamantine.
Oh.
My anaconda will just sort of look about to see if he can't spot the examiner.
Examiner. All right. So as he kind of looks around, a few of the other craftsmen kind of shoo the snake away, just kind of keeping away from the forge. They're just worried about making sure that the snake isn't going to get hit by anything, especially with so many hammers and different weapons around. After a little bit, he finally spots where one of the artificers, who seems to be going over a lot of different jewelry, gems, and then even some weapons. He finally gets the sense of that this is the examiner, artificer, for identifying such odds and ends, and even the value of some items if rare.
My anaconda will then sort of quickly return to Pandora.
Right. So, after a few minutes, you see the doors open with a grand archway and the lights just very bright and vibrant inside. You see plenty of black and gold tile, obsidian, all the way through the hall themselves and the grand entrance. As a man more dressed to this land with a strange kind of weapon, from what you could discern, as he comes out to greet the noble. Like, yes, my lord, I apologize for keeping you waiting so long. My name is Winford Leon. Oppmer will be coming to join you soon from the top of the tower. Please, right this way. I'm sure he's eager to discuss your business deals and looking to trade with much more of your fine works and jewelry. So, You could hear the Lord kind of wheeze, but then you see a really ugly, fat grin creep across his tired face. He's like, "Yes, good. I can't wait to have a nice sit down and chat with Oppmer. I heard he's got many of the finest works and trade routes planned out, and he's quite the lucrative deal I'm looking to make with him." Intensifies. So he meanders inside as Winfred leads him, and the gates slowly close again. And from the glimmer of the gold, you could tell that on the obsidian floor, it actually is gold. They poured full, from what you could tell, full ingots to give the full embellishings of the engravings on the whole obsidian floor. So, after intensifying a little bit more, he squeaks and squeaks, and then finally turns and starts walking away, as if he got enough quota from pets.
Good. I didn't want to be him. Polite. Good, Anakin.
Yeah.
Kill him.
Kill him.
And
Kill him now.
you could just kind of see like the Clockwork Dragon just kind of like walking around, looking at everyone, just giving little squeaks at a time. Kind of steps over very lightly over the snake.
We're going to have to kidnap that dragon when we're leaving.
It's Paracelsus' pet.
Yes.
It kind of just looks at Pseudo.
It wants the headband.
No.
Gives a little squeak.
No, I will not pet the dragon.
High heresy.
Banned from
Have
that
your
roll
head,
20.
you filthy Nord.
Oh god.
Banned from roll 20.
Bad. I mean, I'll give it the pat, but I'm not gonna go full ham.
So
Good.
you give it a few pats. It gives a nice little happy squeak from the little gears as its voice box. And after you stop, it starts to move on. Goes and sits between Kaida and Yuno.
I regard it with a cold gaze.
It kind
Banned from roll 20 forever.
of it kind of tilts its head. Just, eek.
Collectively gasps in Spanish.
I'm just kind of leaning on my scythe and just staring at it.
All right. You can see the little clockwork gears ticking around in its neck and head as the shutters kind of close and open again.
Can I sense if this is someone or something's familiar?
Yeah.
Arcane.
Yeah, you could roll Arcana.
Oh, this one's good.
So with this, you can tell it's not familiar, but you can tell there's definitely something magical about this. Not just that it's a construct. It has a secondary purpose. You're not entirely sure what you can't put your finger on it.
Okay. So I wouldn't believe that this thing is communicating everything it sees and hears to someone, or would I not know?
You wouldn't know that.
Okay. All right. Well, I definitely still don't trust this thing. I just try to make conversation with Pseudo and Kaida and say, "Did you get your shopping done?"
You know, at this point, Yuno could probably hear the speech going on between us two.
Oh god, sounds so gross. I mean, I just walked around.
You're still doing the creepy snake talk?
It's I wouldn't call it snake talk, but it's
It is
certainly
good
talk.
snake talk.
It's if I told you the exact speech, you guys would try and understand, but it would probably make you mad.
I don't
But after a while,
snake talk.
yeah. So
Good
you know,
snake talk.
He's fucking deep speech.
Okay.
Sounds like snake talk to me.
Sounds like
No.
snack to me.
Sounds like snack talk, and I'm
So, did you get any shopping done? I
No.
commissioned a weapon myself.
I train my weapons every day. See, tightens a bandage around his hand.
In surgery for these weapons.
These guns.
Fair enough, Pseudo.
No.
Pseudo-kun.
Sutoko.
Just
Pandora
wanted
will-
to make sure we're taking advantage of the peace and quiet. She'll give you the eyebrows. No, I'm just kidding.
Dude.
Whistle, whistle.
So as that conversation's going on, Kaida, you hear Magnus and Waterdeep. That's the only parts you understand.
Oh no. Legasp.
Legasp.
Wait, I know that name.
After a while, the little clockwork dragon starts just meandering over. Just kind of crawls up onto the back of the giant lizard and sits on the saddle.
After it leaves, I tell my near party members in a whisper my suspicions about that thing. Careful what you say here.
Pandora will sort of look at Yuno and sort of just give a half nod, but she's still speaking in deep speech. And then after that, Pandora will sort of give a bow to the other snake and then look toward Yuno. I'm going to quickly get something checked out. I don't suppose you would mind waiting for me. She seems a little hesitant on saying and speaking about this.
I believe we have time. Do what you need.
Pandora will sort of nod and move towards the artificer. K and K, they could probably notice there's an odd twitchiness about her. She then moves over to where I assume the artificer is, and half like she sort of presents the blade that she took from the Oni. I need this examined quickly, and don't remove the blade from the sheath.
I bet them. Hold on. I'm gonna go down and bet them to remove the blade from the sheath.
That is not a wise idea.
I'll do it. Yeah, I'll remove the blade from the sheath. I'll do it, Josh. I'm a man. I got like 5 will.
I'm talking with the fucking artificer, you ass.
So
Should I ask Google if my will is enough to resist a weapon?
sure, but he looks at you like a little curiously. He looks back down at the weapon itself.
Just a weapon.
Oh god.
I don't know how to help with that yet.
Fuck.
I have no clue what the fuck you are saying.
And he looks at the sheath itself, the different designs and the small bits of runes on it. and the different designs as well on the hilt. He looks back to you. He's like, this is Elizabeth folk work. How'd you get this? Yeah, well, he kind of bites his tongue a little as he looks at your lower half while.
I managed to acquire it on my travels. It was in the hands of an Oni, you see. She sort of keeps it very brief and tries to keep quiet about this. The Gadron could probably overhear. But ever since I took the blade out, she sort of goes quiet and looks left and right. There's a whisper in this blade, and I need it checked out.
A whisper, you say? Oh.
I can hear it at night. I'm managing my best to ignore it, but she rails off again.
Oh my.
Yeah, you see, there's a reason I don't make you guys touch this sort of stuff.
I mean, I'll touch the sword.
Yeah, okay, you just go insane then.
I'll touch the sword.
I'll definitely touch the sword.
Nobody
It's all
knows
about
how
the sword.
insane I am.
Anyway, no, she'll just keep quiet and keep the blade there. I have enough coin if that's what you're after.
He looks it over. The most I could do is try and figure out where it came from. As to getting rid of that, unfortunately, the only thing I could think of is possibly melting it down, but first I would have to discern if that would be possible due to the enchant.
Pandora will sort of half gulp at this. I see. Would there be someone you know that could look at it a little bit better?
Well, I know he's usually very busy and he doesn't like to be bothered by anyone unless there's a very lucrative business deal, but Oppmer could definitely figure it out quickly. He's so... As much as I'm ashamed to say myself, he's extremely organized and seems to be extremely well read and rounded with a lot of these matters. Even if it's the oddball, he seems to be quite capable of deducing things very quickly.
Thank you. She'll pick up the blade and sort of reattach it to her. She'll take the sheath and the blade in its sheath and sort of reattach it to her belt, and she'll sort of give a relatively small payout of gold just for the examiner. As much as I appreciate your service, it's not what I'm after. I hope you can understand.
Of course. I apologize I couldn't be of more help.
Pandora will sort of give a bow, but as she's moving off, both he and Gadron can see like her eyes quickly flicker to sort of a more snake-like visage for just a second as she sort of slithers off.
He
kind of looks over at you as you're passing. You can tell after you do that, he's like, "What did I do?"
No, poor guy.
You could tell he wasn't paying attention to that at all. He thought you were probably getting your sword appraised.
Pandora will then sort of quickly as she relatively can, move over to Yuno and sort of just clear her throat. May I speak to you for a moment? Yuno's BRB, I think.
Might be.
Yeah.
Or
BRB
children that showed up.
It's always good to just say, hey, can we not kill Oppmers straight away? I don't exactly want whispers in my brain.
That too.
You don't? You some kind of pansy?
Now listen, I don't mean to sound ungrateful that I have a second voice in my brain next to, fucking speaking to Bahamut when I pray, but as great as it sounds on paper, I mean, I don't exactly want my, next to no strength character wielding this thing trying to go on a bloodthirsty rampage to get shot down in, 3 seconds, in case this thing is making me insane.
Then just get rid of it.
But it's so cool, and it's got like a forest theme and everything. Pandora is not the wiser. She doesn't know it's making her insane. She doesn't understand. All right, Pandora was just saying to you, if she could speak with a moment.
Oh, yes. What is it? She'll whisper.
Pandora will sort of whisper back, "We can't kill Oppmers straight away." She flatly announces. She sort of flatly tells her, "The blade that I picked up from one of the Oni, it's not natural."
How so, and how would this prevent us from doing what we came here to do?
She sort of seems a bit troubled at this, as if it's affecting her again. "It's in there." She's tapping her head a little bit. "I don't think it's normal or natural. This can't be good for me."
Well,
I tried to speak with the artificer, and he said Oppmer was the only way to have this looked at properly.
well, we will see. When the moment is right to strike, I will not hesitate. But perhaps you will get to speak to him about your problem. But with how defended this area is, striking when the moment is best is our best hope of defeating him and escaping alive.
Of course. She sort of nods understandingly. And then she'll just sort of nod again. "Thank you for at least hearing me out."
You're welcome.
Pandora will sort of move along. Just sort of, but still a little bit more twitchy than usual. My anaconda will then just take a dip into the well. "Can't get this thing. I can't get this stink off."
When he dips into the well, he sinks a lot further than expected and realizes that it's actually like a natural spring coming up from the bottom. It goes probably like a good 40 feet down.
Oh, shit. Just the Sonic 2 drowning noise.
So, after a few more minutes after you saw the noble go in, he comes out looking extremely happy and still wheezing all the way as he walks. As he passes by everyone, he just gives a very polite nod and just kind of like dabs himself with his silk.
He dabs.
With his silk cloth, as the two ladies kind of watch carefully to make sure he doesn't like just fall over from exhaustion alone.
Dabs internally.
Just walking.
What do we see anything we recognize? Do we like that we could identify this man?
Yeah. So as he walks by, you can see just quite clearly on his cane that he is excuse me, one of the most well-known jewelry shops from the capital itself. Is simply known as the Jade Dragon, in reference to the Jade region and respect as well. He also is, after you see the insignia as well on his staff, the Jade orb on it, that he pretty much is one of the most lucrative gem dealers and precious metal dealers in all of the capital and most of the Minkaya itself. He'd been sitting fat and happy for a very long time, and that he is definitely not one to miss out on a business opportunity if he knows one. So the fact that he's here is very significant, and also means that Oppmer has grown quite well known and well rounded in the business world itself, just from the work he's managed to put out.
Yeah, I'm very concerned. Thinks to herself, he must be selling focusing crystals for Oppmer's las rifles for his army. Yes. No, I'm just kidding. Armor for.
But you definitely see plenty of works and lights and an odd sound, and also hearing odd sounds coming out from the tower itself, and some even being just like bending metal.
I hope he doesn't keep us waiting much longer.
I want to get away from the weird snake lady. I don't want to be next to her.
Oh yeah.
She's actually
Also-
kind of just happily petting the anaconda.
Just a quick question, real quick. Has there still been any more of these fireballs raining down? Or is that just...
Ever since Ione got driven off, you have not seen a single one.
Oh,
Hmm.
interesting. I was about to say the fireball things were pretty important earlier. They're just raining down. Fucking weird bugs were coming down on the ground. There was a big one.
Well, that was a natural occurrence, kind of.
Well, no, kind of. They're also getting driven out of the ground from the vibrations of the impacts.
Mm-hmm.
So, you have no idea how much I actually want to go pull the sword out of the sheath. You have no idea.
I want a cursed blade!
Dude, are you kidding me? I'm just yoked out.
So, after a few minutes of everyone just kind of wandering around and just talking, as Pandora seems a little more focused, the small little clockwork dragonling just kind of sits on the back of her tail. Kind of like hitching a ride.
It's getting on the public bus. Can't blame it.
After a few more minutes, and you see the carriage leave with the noble. You see the doors open up again, and you can see the man who had escorted the noble earlier come out with a very wide grin on his face. And he looks around carefully, you know, taking in everyone and all their effects, and then his eyes kind of meet on all of you, and just swiftly starts striding over with just a huge air of confidence.
I would like to buy a vowel, he says.
So Gadrin starts running away. Right. I didn't miss anything, did I? I mean, the works here are amazing.
Indeed, I met a very nice merchant named Lagul. He sold me this weapon here.
Oh, please tell me you bought it from a dwarf.
He was a dwarf, in fact.
Oh, I have to go and get some. I have to go get some weapons for maybe myself.
He was a shrewd businessman. He wouldn't back down on the price.
Was that not paying attention to the Lago part? Oh my god. I was just like, holy shit. Oh, I'm so mad. That was probably when I was actually... It's okay. I'm okay.
Ah, looks like Oppmers' butler.
Butler?
As he
Or manservant, whatever you prefer.
You say that out loud, right?
Yeah.
All right. He looks over with a very large smile. He's like, oh, no. I'm his business dealer, manager of sorts. I keep everything that he likes in place and moving like so, but more of a business partner to say. My name is Winford Leon.
Winford.
Ooh. Draws psychic powers.
Oh, good.
Greetings, My name is Yuno.
Traitor.
We're here to have an audience with Oppmer, your business partner.
Yes, he was hoping to hire you all on. So, if you'd please follow me, I'm sure he'll be a little busy for the day. If anything, he'll have to stay for the night and enjoy some of the finer luxuries. I'm sure you're very tired from all the tales that we heard, all these notes from Hamada and his army, fighting off Oni and killing the commanders just all by your small selves. I'm definitely riveted to hear about it myself.
Oh. Well, if you insist.
I do. And he looks over at the little dragonling and kind of gives it a small pat as it comes over and like, been keeping an eye on things, peeps. And you just hear a small little squeak.
I don't care. I still want to kidnap it.
And he waves for all you. Come. I wish to show you the grand workshop. And he starts leading you all in.
I am the Batman.
If I must.
As we're walking, I'll ask him, how long has Oppmer been in power here?
For nothing personal.
For almost a year now.
Well, he's accomplished much.
He's a fast worker, and the workers who work for him are just as fast.
What is his goal here? What is the purpose of this tower?
This was the great defense to rid the entire trade route of all the Oni, and he's actually managed to do that entirely. He promised the Jade Regent that he would be able to pull it off with a few men and fine craftsmanship and plenty of funding. And once he was started, he no longer needed the Jade Regent's funding, which pleased him even more. And then all he did was simply send men our way and craftsmen who were interested in taking part in much of his work. Many have come and gone, and even some decided to stay.
Very interesting.
It's even more interesting that a small mercenary group would just show up and be able to stamp out the leader so quickly after they've been causing so much trouble for so long.
Yes, we severed their leadership. That battle was quite the slaughter.
So I heard. Many men died, but more importantly, the Oni have been finally pushed out permanently. The trade routes will flow freely again. But come. I'll show you it. And I'll leave it off there for now.
Okay. Haha, Winford.
Oh,
Mm.
you excited?
Now he's free to make all the deals he wants.
I'd like to sell my soul for a Monopoly game.